It's the NFL on EA Sports. And if it's in the game, it's in the game. It's the Steelers and the Silver and Black coming up next.
Well, there's never a shortage of shows or sights and sounds throughout this city, but for the next few hours, all eyes are glued to Allegiant Stadium here in Las Vegas. Up in the booth with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and kickoff straight ahead, CD. What's one thing that you're going to have your eye on?
I think about what the great coaches of the past always said, the key to any ball game. Can you rush theirs and protect yours? Well, in this case, both of these teams get after the quarterbacks. I'm watching the pass rush.
And we are underway at Allegiant Stadium. And he'll be stopped up at the 25. So out come the Steelers now for their first drive. And they'll be led out by the former Buckeye, the young rookie QB from Ohio State.
For every rookie prospect, there are always nerves involved in this moment. Running your team out to start a game. But there's a reason they brought him in. We're willing to make him their starter today. They believe he can overcome those nerves and lead his team to a victory. We saw him do it at the collegiate level and really make himself into a leader and someone you can envision doing the exact same thing here in the NFL.
Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5. Back to throw. Howard. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on, 3rd down.
Well, that's absolutely going to fire this defense up. They made it their mission to deny that completion, and they came through with a nice hit and knocked it incomplete.
3rd play here, this opening drive, as they're up against a 3rd and 5. Operating from the gun, Howard. And now another one thrown incomplete. Not the opening possession they were looking for, especially on the road.
No doubt about it, because they wanted to come out and establish a little momentum right away. But now bringing up a 4th down, an empty possession, not what they were seeking.
Now on 4th down, it's Cameron Johnston on to punt it away. And a fair catch signaled for and taken just outside the 20-yard line. So now it's the Raiders' turn to go on offense for the first time. And they're led out by their mobile quarterback out of West Virginia. It's Geno Smith.
I still remember back in 2013 when he was drafted out of West Virginia. He was coming off of back-to-back 4,000-yard seasons for the Mountaineers. Hadn't seen as much game time in recent years, but at one point, a capable starter in the NFL.
We knew both of these safeties were good in run support, but how about the play we just saw there? How about that closing speed? Able to get to the outside part of the field and turn that play into a loss.
And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And he'll take it ahead to the 28-yard line.
And that's the kind of run that gets everyone excited on offense. And, you know, oftentimes the guys who carry the ball are the ones in the huddle doing the chirping. Right now, I think it's the offensive line telling them, run it again. We are right there about to break a big one.
In motion is Phillips. Geno now to throw. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. That good for 19 yards as they pick up the conversion on 3rd.
Normally on 3rd down and short yardage, you're thinking of throwing to your tight end. It's just going to be a simple chain mover. But this time they let him roam down the field, and a nice dart picks up the 1st down and then some.
On 1st down, they'll go to the ground attack. And he'll get it down here to the 43. Give him 10 yards on the pickup, and that'll make it 2nd and a foot or so.
That was a good run, probably right on the edge of breaking into something really big. So the defensive guys right now are talking about, okay, what can we do to slow him down before he truly gets started?
Play action. It's Smith. That's to the left side where he's got Bowers. And he's going to get this inside the 30. That's good for a first down, his second catch of the opening drive.
When this offense can get their tight ends involved, they can move the football. Here, a nice route, able to look it in, and picks up the first down.
That's caught by Tucker. And they will eventually get him down, but he's inside the 5 all the way to the 3. 23 yards, the final tally.
That's a nice job right there. Get the ball out to the perimeter, get it to your guy in space. And he's just going to take this, turn upfield, and turn it into a big play in 1st and goal.
Here we go now on 1st and goal. Now it's Smith off the bootleg. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he'll go backwards, losing yardage to the 5. It'll go as a loss on the play. Not what you need down here. It's going to be 2nd and goal.
In today's NFL, we're accustomed to the tight end getting downfield and creating plays and wreaking a little havoc in the secondary. Not on this one, though. They diagnosed that one really well.
Tried the dump off, lost yardage. And this is caught. Touchdown, Raiders. Jacoby Myers, a 5-yard touchdown. And the Raiders are on the board first here this afternoon. Well, you've got to like that start on both sides of the football. You force the 3 and out, and then you score on your first drive.
Well, I know someone who doesn't like that start.
Well, yeah, the other side.
Yeah, they don't like that at all, right? This is not the way it's supposed to be. But what you just described, that's team football, all right? When you get a 3 and out, you're supposed to take advantage of it on the offensive side of the ball. You said, thank you very much for getting us the rock. Let's put it in the end zone, and they did exactly that.
Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And it's now a 7-0 game. So that drive in total 8 plays. And it was all capped off by Jacoby Myers on the touchdown reception. Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. So Pittsburgh retakes the field for their second offensive possession. And the first drive, 3 and out. Second possession, see if they can get a little momentum.
And oftentimes that first drive is just a feeling out process. You have some plays that you've got called and you want to see how the defense reacts. It may not go terrific on the first one. Now they're ready to go. They've kind of got to look at them, got a sense. Let's see if they open things up a little bit.
See if they open things up. Let's see what the defense does here, too, after a good stop.
The defense thought they had that play covered, but it still got driven backward by those blockers. Those types of plays are a key part of any team's offensive game plan. It all starts up front in the trenches.
Now flags will come in. I think this one's going to be on the defense for jumping. A penalty accepted, and they move the ball forward. So after the penalty, now they need just a yard on second down. Off play action. Howard. A short one there to Freiermuth. And Freiermuth going to have a Steelers first down as he'll get this to the 44-yard line. A gain of 4 that time as the drive continues.
When an offense reads blitz, doesn't matter where it's coming from, tight ends know that they become a big part of the passing game because they should be an easy outlet when all those extra bodies are trying to get to the quarterback. A hot route, so to speak.
Here's Freiermuth again. The result, only 4 yards there on the play. And that will bring up second down. Looking to throw. Howard. A quick throw there is incomplete.
The coverage was good, but I just wonder if they absolutely fooled the quarterback on that play. I think he was expecting something else, ended up with nowhere to throw the football successfully.
So after the second down incompletion, they'll come up now against a 3rd and 6. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. A short one there to Freiermuth. Yeah, he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. 3rd catch for him on this drive alone, and it'll give him a first down.
And this was a nice example of an offensive coordinator scheming his guy open. Just a little underneath route, just trying to free up some space, and it worked awfully well. Got him not just space, but plenty of room to run after the catch to pick up really nice yardage.
So here's a 1st and 10 now in Raider territory at the 38. They'll look to throw again. A short one there to Freiermuth. That'll go for a gain of 7, and it's 2nd down.
I don't care what sport you're playing. Everyone likes to build up a little momentum, don't they? And look at this, back-to-back completions to the big target at tight end.
That one not as profitable as the other, but still a decent gain. Here's 2nd and 3. Off the play fake. Howard. Now a short pass pulled in by Washington. First connection there of the afternoon for those two, and it's good for a first down. Now runs straight ahead with Warren. And he fights forward for a modest 2-yard gain, 2nd down.
When the 4-3 defense is functioning really well, you know who stays what we call clean and no one gets to him? The guy playing the middle linebacker position, the guy we call Mike. That means the defensive front is eating up all the blocks and just let him go to the football and make a play.
Warren will try the right side. And he's going to be close to a first down as he gets this to the Raiders 17. It's a gain of 6, moves him to a manageable 3rd and 2 situation.
I really like the vision he displayed on that play because he saw there wasn't a lane to completely break off a huge gain. So he found where there was the most space and got what he could. A nice dirty run that's a positive play for the offense.
A handoff for Warren. And he will be brought down at about the 6-yard line. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. The first drive this unit had, they punted. This drive, much more polished, just looking crisper, aren't they, moving the ball?
Maybe the first drive was a little bit of a wake-up call. Probably a little bit angry that they had to punt the ball away the first time they had it. Got motivated, got to the sideline, said, okay, let's not let that happen here as we take over again.
And he's going to take it in for a Steeler touchdown. A 6-yard touchdown run. And the Steelers are within an extra point of tying up this ball game.
Well, I'd have to say that for him, that was an all-encompassing drive because it was his arm that got his team down to that point, but his legs that finished the deal. Give him credit for making it happen.
Chris Boswell now for the extra point. It's up and good. So these teams match touchdowns here in the first quarter, and we're tied 7-7. A pretty long drive that time. 11 plays all told. And it's capped off by a touchdown run of 6 yards. So all even at 7 now as they kick it away. And out a little across the 25 to the 27. Second drive of the game coming up for this Las Vegas offense. So both of these teams, Charles, coming off touchdowns now, but this offense, they just had to stand on the sideline, watch their opponent author a really impressive drive to reach the end zone.
Yeah, and I think you're not telling yourself the truth if you don't think there's some one-upsmanship going on right now, because they just had their touchdown answered by a drive of double-digit plays that also found the end zone. Now they want to do something even more impressive to answer that one.
So not quite a first down just yet as they come up on second and less than a yard. There they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. And he'll be brought down right around the 37. Only a gain of a yard, but that's all they needed.
Sometimes I get almost mesmerized watching these runners who have great vision. You know, those eyes that carry their feet to open spaces, make people miss. I just love watching those guys go to work.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. From the gun, here's Smith. Over the middle, complete. It's Phillips. And this will be good for a pickup of 9 to the 46. Second down and a yard. Here's a handoff out of the gun. And hit behind the line. He lost the football. It's loose. And it's picked up by the Steelers. And they will set up shop in enemy territory at the 42-yard line.
Do you remember in preseason we were going to the different training camps and visiting teams, and we always would see the running backs working out and going through those gauntlet drills, and, you know, guys either slapping at the ball or the machines. You got to learn to take care of it.
Yeah, they lost it there. Big fumble. And Pittsburgh getting set to take the field. This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out, looking to repeat that in Charles's defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a battle of wills in a lot of ways because you know they're both motivated. They both game plan for this drive, and they both have specific outcomes in mind. To me, it just comes down to who can execute better and which side can step up and assert its will over the other.
So that one overturned. They say the knee was down, and that will not be ruled a fumble. Off of play action, here's Smith. He's going to leave this for his running back. It's complete. So 5 yards here, 5 on the play, and it'll be second down.
Now that's the type of play that gives you a chance to win. Nothing forced downfield where you don't have a guy open. Swing it out to the back, on maybe even check it down, whatever you want to call it. Gain of 5. You're just trying to get 4 on first down. They're ahead of the chains now.
Throwing now is Geno. No chance to get away there for Smith as he goes down. Cole Holcomb proving too much there for the offensive line. He gets the sack. Well, he was really focused downfield, but there was really no viable options. The coverage was too good.
And the defense really quickened the tempo of that play with their pass rush because there was nowhere for him to go with the football. The only place he ended up, down on the ground.
Now a tough spot for Geno Smith and company after the sack. It's 3rd and long. Now Geno. Pretty solid gain of 7 yards that time as he scrambled, but now they face a 4th down.
I thought he did a pretty good job there to get back what he could, but let's face it, that sack on 2nd down, talk about throwing a wrench into the works. It certainly did.
Yeah, he did everything he could there trying to pick up some positive yardage, and he did, but not enough. On 4th down, A.J. Cole comes on to punt. The back deep for the Steelers is Calvin Austin. And now where will the side judge stop his walk? That's the question. He says it crossed out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. Here's Howard throwing to start the drive. This one into the hands of Metcalf. Call it a gain of 6 on the play, and it'll be 2nd down. Seven, our score after 1. Steeler football here to begin quarter number 2. As they've got it with a 2nd and 4 coming up. Operating from the gun, Howard. That's to the veteran. It's Robert Woods. And they're able to get this one across the 35. His first catch, good for 14 there and a first down.
To win any route, you've got to break down the defender, and that's exactly what happened here on this really nicely executed curl route.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Off play action. Howard. It won't be a sack, but it's no gain, and it brings up 2nd down.
Like it's been this negatively as he just got back to the line of scrimmage. But when you really analyze it, he took away a big play for the defense, made it an uneventful run because he avoided a sack and didn't lose yardage.
Here's 2nd and 10. The first carry now. This is Johnson. 4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. Operating from the gun, Howard. And he will slide to a stop. He does have the first down. That one a broken play, but it ends up being a good play. The scramble goes for 20.
On 3rd down, the defense decided to blitz. A very good job of recognizing it, stepping away from the pressure, and finding open space to scramble and pick up a first down.
Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
I know at times people think we use it too often, but you've got to be able to throw guys open. And when you read zone, you've got to stick it in there before your receiver gets to the next guy in the zone. Otherwise, you bring him into the play.
And that's precisely what allowed that defense to disrupt the pass. On the give, it's Warren. And they will only muster a yard here to the 38. Now it looks like we've got a Raider here, slow to get up. We'll take a break and get a report from Vegas after this. They'll need to get it to the 30 for a first. This is 3rd down. Operating from the gun. Howard being chased out left. Good coverage downfield led to him taking off, picking up the first down on a 13-yard run.
Fast, slow, it doesn't matter. If you give a quarterback enough room to escape, he can hit you for a big gain. You've got to give him a little more focus moving forward.
Back to throw now on 1st down. And it's incomplete. Boy, he doesn't drop many like that one. 2nd down. It's rare that a receiver of his caliber would drop one pass, but that's now 2 times he's had his mitts on one and lost it.
Yeah, and I don't think that they're going to lose confidence in him, though, because of the track record. Such a good player, maybe having a bad game, but I think they'll still go to him in a critical spot.
Howard now. Off play action. A short one there to Freiermuth. 9 yards, not quite enough, and they'll be left now with 3rd and 1.
I know the halftime's approaching, but I don't think he's going to want to take a break. That's his 5th catch.
Yeah, they've really been targeting the tight end. They'll look to make it 3 for 3 on 3rd down conversions. They need a yard here. They'll run it. Warren. And he takes it down to the 13 and picks up the first. A 3rd down gain of 3 yards, and that'll be enough.
I hope we give enough respect to the big guys up front because they have been getting it done on this drive. The holes have been large, and they've been barreling through them, picking up first downs.
Operating from the gun. Howard. Now the pressure gets there, and he goes down just inside the 20 at the 19. He couldn't get rid of it. He takes a sack for a loss of 6 to bring up second down. Well, we've seen how this quarterback can beat you with his legs. Saw it earlier on this drive, as a matter of fact. But that time, they had him covered.
They really gave him no place to escape because oftentimes they're able to find a crack, a sliver, anything that can get them upfield. On that occasion, nothing open at all, and they swarmed him.
Now a run with Warren. And good downhill running. He's got 6 yards down to the 13.
It's not a huge breakaway run, but if your starting running back finishes the game with averages of 5 or 6 yards per touch, you'll take that every single time.
This offense so far on third down, they have been superb. 5 for 6 to this point. This is 3rd and 10. Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. Left side here, taken in by Metcalf. Give him a gain of 5 on the completion, and that's going to bring up a 4th down. Now Chris Boswell for the Steelers field goal try. From the left hash, a chip shot here. Boswell's kick is good, and they take the lead here now at 10-7. That will go down as a 15-play drive, and it results in 3 points. So some disappointment?
It's funny. We had our conference before the game with the offensive coordinator, and what did he tell us? I just want every drive to end in a kick, right? An extra point, a punt, or a field goal. Well, in this case, I think it is a little bit of a disappointment because it did end in a kick, but that type of a drive should end in the end zone.
And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. The Raiders offense now, they trot back out. Defense got the better of them last series, forcing a punt. See if they make a few changes in the game plan here and try to get points out of this drive. 1st and 10. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Yeah, another negative play in an early down situation. This one to start the drive. You're putting a lot of pressure on your quarterback to bail you out when you're in 2nd and long yardage.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. To throw is Smith. Open man is Myers. So the completion good for 7 there. And now we've got a 3rd and 4.
And I think he just wanted to get the ball to one of his playmakers to see if they can make something happen, but he ends up throwing into a crowded area, and after the catch, he isn't able to do much with it.
And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game. Now it's Smith. He had a man open, but he missed him, and it's incomplete.
Like what I see so far out of this defense because they've been showing their best coverages on 3rd down. So far, only allowed 1 conversion on a handful of attempts. One area of their game plan that they've executed to perfection.
Here's A.J. Cole now to punt this one away. Now Austin. A 46-yard punt, 8 yards on the return. And the Steelers will go on offense here, 1st and 10. They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. And that to the 30. It'll be 2nd down.
Well, from an offensive perspective, that was a tough run because he only picked up 3 yards. Well, let's flip it over to the defensive side. They now have the advantage. 3 3-yard gains, that means they're punting the ball likely on 4th down. That's what you're looking for when you're playing defense.
On the run, it's Warren. And tough going there as he'll only get it up to about the 31. A 1-yard gain there following the 3-yard pickup on 1st down.
Back-to-back runs, I'd say that encompassed maximum effort for minimal gain.
Minimal yardage, and now they're going to need something more than minimal on this play coming up. Now a 3rd and 6. Back to throw. Howard. Screenplay. Johnson. And he's out of bounds, able to take this one up to the 35. A short gain there of just 4. That'll bring up a 4th down.
Boy, that was certainly well read defensively. And the key to any screenplay is space to work. And there was none to be found there. And they tackle him for just a short gain.
On 4th down, out is the punter, Cameron Johnston, to boot it away. First kick, 47. This one looks good as well. Fair catch called for and made at the 16 or maybe the 17-yard line. So possession goes over here on the punt. And it'll be Raiders football, 1st and 10. They'll send a receiver in motion to the left. Smith now to throw. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And it's picked up by the... And he takes it back to the house. A fumble recovery for a Steelers score. Huge play by the defense, not only to force the fumble, obviously, but to return it for a touchdown.
And I know it's no fun for anyone who plays offense, but isn't it fun to see how a defense rallies when there's a fumble return and everyone tries to find someone to block and bring it all the way home?
I always like their celebrations because they don't get there that often.
No, they're not choreographed very well usually.
Boswell for the extra point. It's good to make it 17-7. So not only the cough up, but then the pickup on the other side, the scoop, and the score the other way. The fumble return for a touchdown. So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. The Vegas offense ready for their next possession. And let's just say they're going to be looking to start over on this drive. A few moments ago, they were in the exact situation, but their first play led to a fumble that was returned for 6.
Yeah, you definitely have to have a short memory to play in the NFL. You got to remember what you did wrong so you don't repeat it, but you can't dwell on it because then you will repeat it, and that's what you don't want to do. Well, you don't turn your nose up at a gain of 4, do you? They'll take that on first down. Playbook's got to be pretty well open on 2nd and 6.
Line of scrimmage, the 24. This is 2nd and 6. Now Smith. That one's complete out to Michael Mayer. So the completion good for 6 yards. And that's going to make it 3rd down and less than a yard.
When you execute a drag or a crossing route really well and give them a chance to let it develop a little bit, you can gain some significant yardage hitting your tight end on that one.
Here comes 3rd and the length of the football. Now whistles here, and I believe one of the Raider linemen might have been moving. Here's 3rd and a few inches. Now Smith. Oh, he had him. He was open, but he couldn't get it to him. It's incomplete. Not much going on this drive. Looks like they're going to have to punt it away, CD.
And right now, I know a lot of their fans are screaming for the OC to change things up, get away from what he's been calling. Sometimes you just need better execution of the plays that have been called.
Here's A.J. Cole now as he's on to punt for Las Vegas. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. And no one there to stop it. Hits at the 8, but it carries all the way into the end zone for a touchback. Pittsburgh set to take over again on offense. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and force something that could put your team in some jeopardy? For many teams, the evaluation of tight ends has really changed. We used to wonder about how they would block first and foremost. Now we want to know how these guys can run because we envision them in offenses, catch the ball. How much yardage can they gain after that?
And that on display there for a good pickup. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down.
Not a huge carry there on first down, but not all of them will be. But still, all in all, a positive play for the offense. It's all about picking up at least a few to set up what you're going to do here on 2nd down.
And they'll come up 2nd and 7. Looking to throw. Howard. A short one there to Freiermuth. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. That one good for 26 and a first down.
You don't always expect tight ends to be big in terms of run after the catch, but after that play, he joins a growing band of players that's putting that stereotype right on its ear.
Here's Warren. And he gets forward up the middle, but only for a couple. It'll be second down. Eric Stokes in on the tackle. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. Second down and 8. Back to throw. Howard. A short one there to Freiermuth. And he's going to get 7 out of this before being taken down at the 27. Here now, 3rd and a yard. Looking to throw. Howard. And this one nearly intercepted. Oh, that's a ball he thinks he should have had. Instead, maybe a chance for the offense to get 3 out of it after all. 4th down.
How about this defense? They came up with a couple big plays in this sequence, and none better than the one right there, forcing the incompletion and bringing up 4th down.
Boswell's kick is good, and that will open the lead up now to 20-7. So it's 4th and 1. They wind up taking the 3, but I'm not sure that offensive unit, judging by the sideline, Charles, was in 100% agreement with the decision.
No, not at all, but the head coach has final call on this. We know that. But let's face it, offenses want to feel like, hey, you believe in us, let us go for it. We'll see if that is a problem for them moving forward in this game.
And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. Here's Las Vegas ready to take the field. And Charles, we'll see what they can do here. Not a ton of time left, but enough certainly to get points out of this drive, and they need them right now because they're trailing.
Yeah, this is exactly why you practice a 2-minute drill all through camp and at least one practice each week before a game. A minute left, more than enough time to string a few completions together, reach the end zone, and then make that walk back to the locker room just a little more animated.
Here's 2nd and 7. Throwing is Smith. His throw incomplete.
Certainly looked like someone was very confident in his ability to fit that one in. I would say he was overconfident because there wasn't a whole lot of separation there. Had that one covered pretty well downfield and knocked it away.
They head to the line facing a 3rd and 7 following the incompletion on 2nd down. Here's Smith. That's incomplete, but there is a flag down, so hang on. A big call coming on 3rd down. So they decline the hold, and that's going to lead to a 4th down. Here's A.J. Cole now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. Here's Austin. 49-yard punt, 5 on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. The Steelers taking over now late in this first half. Already enjoying a 2-score lead here late in the second quarter. Not a ton of time left. We'll see if they can work this at least into field goal range and try to get 3 to add on even more to their lead. Second and 6. Operating from the gun, Howard. That'll be caught left side by Woods. Now the Steelers use the 2nd of their 3 timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. They'll look to throw here on first down. A short one there to Freiermuth. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down. Now the Steelers going to use their third and final timeout as the clock will stop with 21 seconds to go here in the first half. Second down and a little more than a yard here. Again, he'll drop to throw. Airing it out deep for Woods. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
Early on, the running game's been working well, and the offensive line has been pleased by that. The thought process there, catch those safeties creeping up, trying to help against the running game. They tried to hit them over the top, unsuccessfully.
They tried to throw on second down, unsuccessful. Now it's 3rd and 1. Back to throw again. That'll be incomplete with 9 seconds now showing on the clock. That close on 3rd down, I think everybody probably expecting a run. Instead, they go to the air on 3rd and short yardage.
I realize this is a passing league, and they're liable to throw the ball on any down and distance. But that short, I do question the call. Run the football and pick it up.
On is the punter, Johnston, now as he sends this one away. And this will be out of bounds, and they spot it at the 15-yard line. Not too bad. And with time running short here, they'll simply take a knee, and that should do it for half number 1. So we've reached the intermission in what right now is a 13-point game. As we send you to our EA studios in Orlando, here's Jonathan Coachman with our EA Sports Halftime Report.
We were certainly treated to an entertaining first half. Both these teams with some high points and maybe a couple of low points as well. So it's going to be a question of who can be the most disciplined team going forward. Okay, Coach, thanks as always to you and the gang in Orlando as we welcome everyone back in for quarter number 3. The Raiders are going to have it first, and they trail here as we get back to it in this third quarter of action. And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return. Out comes the Raiders offense. They'll go on offense first to start quarter number 3. And right out of the gate, they face what you'd think could be a pretty important drive.
I would say so. You know, they're down 2 scores. That's not the end of the world. It wasn't the strongest of first halves, but for them to start clawing back, they've got to start putting a little pressure on that defense, start cutting into this deficit. You can't have 3 and outs and expect to get that done.
And oh, that nearly their first pick of the game, but it falls down to the ground incomplete.
Those are the ones you dream of as defenders. I think if he gets eyes on the ball a little bit earlier, he might come away with it. Instead, it's going to wind up as just an incomplete pass.
Geno down to throw. He's going to hit his man out of the backfield, complete. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. He'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead. They'll fake the handoff. Now Smith. And the Steeler pressure too much here. He's going down. Call it a loss of 4 there on the sack. And speaking of the number 4, it brings up 4th down now.
I'd say it's not panic time yet, but let's be honest about it. Empty possession here, not what you're looking for when you're down a couple of scores.
Absolutely not. Trying to start the second half off on the right foot. Unfortunately, going to give the ball up. Here's A.J. Cole now as he's on for the 5th time here today. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. Fielded just inside the 20. It'll wind up being a net of 41. 9-yard return, 50 on the punt. And they will take over 1st and 10. Time for the Steelers offense now to get set for their first possession of half number 2. They begin the drive with Johnson. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the first down run. He gets maybe 3.
Yeah, that wasn't a big run, just a short one there. But guess what? Sometimes you treat it like boxing. You throw that jab out there, and you throw it again, then you come with a big punch later. Maybe they're just trying to set them up.
Snap will come from the 31 on 2nd and 7. Again, it's Johnson. And he'll get this up only to about the 33. Call it a gain of a couple, and that's going to leave him with a 3rd and about 5. Operating from the gun, Howard. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And out across midfield down to the 45. A well-executed 22-yard gain.
Nice job there of utilizing his big target. And he didn't overthink it. Understands the catch radius. Understands that he knows how to use his body to keep defenders away from the ball. And puts it right out there for the nice pickup.
So here's a 1st and 10 now in Raider territory at the 45-yard line. Now a handoff up the middle. It's Warren, and he'll maneuver his way forward for about 4. 2nd and 6. Second down and 6 now. They stay on the ground. This time it's Johnson. And a good job of finding the open space to run as he's down close to the 30 here. A gain of 10, good for a Steeler 1st down.
Partner, if you want more carries, I think we saw how you get them. Showed that he's got the fresh legs, and he picked up the 1st down on that run. Don't just ask for them. Show them that you're supposed to get the football.
They'll look to throw now on 1st down. They'll get this complete to Calvin Austin. They'll wind up getting 7 on the play, and that's going to bring up 2nd down.
Some think that teams really won't throw a slant route unless you have a receiver that has a lot of stature to him. But sometimes the little guys, they get lost in there. People can't really locate them, and they run that quick cut on the slant, and oftentimes they can turn it into big plays.
2nd and 3. Over the middle, that's caught by Woods. A gain of 5, good enough for the 1st down. Here's a quick throw to Freiermuth. And that's good for a gain of 6, and that'll bring up 2nd down. They'll look to throw again. And it's caught. And the Steelers are looking at 1st and goal as he's tackled all the way down at the 2-yard line.
And I'll tell you what, this offense is playing a little bit of keep away right now. They've come out here in the 3rd quarter, possessed the ball for quite a while, and they keep on converting. Nice pitch and catch there to set up the 1st and goal.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And this is incomplete.
And I can see the officials kind of looking at each other down there, silently wondering, does this meet the level of grounding? Fortunately, he did have a receiver in the area, but I have seen less obvious throwaways called as penalties.
2nd and goal, and they will try again from the 2-yard line. Johnson. And there is nowhere for him to cut back as he's taken down in the backfield. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a 3rd down.
I thought they were onto something with their play call and kind of went in reverse a little bit. Threw it on 1st down, then ran it on 2nd down. Not successful either way. What play call do they come up with here on this important 3rd down try?
Warren Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Always important to get the first score of the second half. Now you start to pull away a little bit and get some breathing room going.
And now we find out about the fortitude of the group that's behind, because they were counting on getting into the game a little bit more, right? Maybe they get the first score. That doesn't happen. It looks almost insurmountable, but it's not. Let's see how hard they play the rest of the game.
Now Mike Tomlin says, let's go ahead and go for two. They'll look to throw. And he's going to go down. Can't get rid of it, so a sack on the two-point try.
Well, they tried to get two and ended up getting none because the quarterback had nowhere to go with the ball and ends up getting sacked.
Nowhere to go at all. Great job, though, defensively. They were ready. Boswell now to kick it away after the touchdown. And able to take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. The Raiders offense coming back out onto the field, and they have had their problems moving the ball through the air as we take you through some of the action from earlier. This secondary has played about as well as you can. Many times they've left this quarterback with nowhere to go with the football. The Raider offense set to get this drive started. I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get two more possessions.
Ball on the 36 now. Here's second and a yard. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And good running there as he'll take this all the way up to midfield. 14 yards is the pickup there at a Raider first.
Absolutely love the run right there. This guy's known for his quickness, but also for his speed. And he's able to get to the second level almost before you blink if you give him any type of blocking. Always talk about slot receivers, and they're usually known as quicker than fast. In this case, we've got a guy who's quick and fast, and he used it to great advantage.
Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on first down. From the 50, it's Smith. He's going to find his running back. It's complete. And they're able to work this to the 25 before it's all said and done. 25 yards there on the catch and run.
Well, we talk all the time about playing situational football, and right now I think the scoreboard is dictating what they need to do. Where they are in this game, they've got to push the ball downfield, take their shots, try and get big chunks of yardage in a short amount of time. That was a nice play there.
Open man right side, Myers. They'll get him to the ground at the 20 following a pickup of 4. The ball resting on the 20. Here's second and 6. They'll fake it. Now Smith. And he is in. Touchdown, Raiders. Brock Bowers, a 20-yard touchdown. And the Raiders are able to cut into that deficit.
For good reason, quarterbacks want to get the ball to the perimeter to their wide receivers for big plays. But in this situation, it felt like based on coverage, he knew that he wanted his tight end to have the football, and for good reason.
Carlson on for the PAT. And they're able to cut the deficit to 12. 5 plays there on that drive. And it ends with a Las Vegas touchdown. Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson. And able to get this out to the 25. The Steelers offense and their quarterback set to take the field once more. And he's been a nightmare to scheme against throughout this one. This defense has been totally taken apart, and that is borne out in his numbers. He's been terrific all game long. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26.
Well, give them credit for trying, but there's no fooling the defense with that call. They were reading run, and they set up to stop the run and then executed.
The last play got just a yard. Here's 2nd and 9 from the 26. Off the play fake. Howard. Open man, that's the tight end Freiermuth. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. 27 yards there, a first down.
This is going to be a corner route to their tight end, and I'll tell you what, it's man coverage, so that makes it hard for a linebacker to stay with him. And he's able to make the catch on the right side of the field and pick up the first down.
So here's a 1st and 10 now in Raider territory at the 47. Operating from the gun. Howard. There goes a deep ball. End zone. It's incomplete. Took a shot. Couldn't connect.
I like the thought process there. They connected on a big play, and sometimes you find the defense vulnerable. So they went for the bigger shot. Went for it all on that one. This time, they were ready for it.
3rd quarter from Southern Nevada. Here's a 2nd and 10. Back to throw. Howard. And they go backwards here, losing yardage back at the 48-yard line. So they'll wind up losing 5 yards on the play, and they're going to be staring at a 3rd and long here.
When you lose that kind of yardage on a pass play, you often expect it to be a sack, but that wasn't the case there. They completed the pass. Probably would have been better off just dropping the football and making an incompletion as opposed to catching it and losing that kind of yardage.
And he slides and covers up at the end as he's going to be able to pick up decent yardage. Decent gain on the scramble to 6, but now it's 4th.
The defense did its job of taking away a quick throw, but that's only half the battle because they've got to get to him before he can make a run for it. A little bit late containing him there, so he makes a nice gain out of a play that looked like it was in trouble.
Now on 4th down, on is the punt team sending this one away. And this one hits at the 1, continues on into the end zone for a touchback. The Vegas offense ready for their next possession. A strong showing their last time out. They scored the touchdown, but Charles, they look up and they're still down double digits, so you feel like just to keep pace, this drive probably needs to end in the end zone as well.
Yeah, and I think the best move for them is to not worry about how far they are down on the scoreboard, but to just remember the last drive and how it ended. Go ahead and try and repeat that. Then you can look at the scoreboard and see where this game is. That certainly appeared to be a play call where they were just trying to make 2nd down, 2nd and short. I think they thought the coverage was off a little bit more than it was. Nice job there pressing up on it and forcing the incompletion.
On 2nd down, they'll run it here. And he will lose yardage on the play, back at his own 19-yard line. It'll go as a loss of a yard, so now they deal with 3rd and 11.
Part of the thinking when you bring in extra tight ends, you're hoping that each of your guys gets those one-on-one blocks and creates a crease for your runner. You know what the converse is, though? You've got to win those one-on-one blocks, and when you don't, that's the result you end up with.
Off of play action, here's Smith. He's got his target. That's complete. And he is going to have the Raiders first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Man coverage on the left side, so I really like the design of this play because they opened up the field and brought their tight end the other way on a crossing route. That's a lot of ground to cover if you're a defender. I've been there before, unable to stay with his man there.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Throwing now is Geno. Throw out wide is incomplete.
No sense risking anything there on 1st down. Even though he's still in the pocket, He had a receiver out to his side, so just put that in a spot where the only people who could make a play on it are the trainers and the coaches. Well done.
Smith, an incomplete pass on first down. Now it's 2nd and 10. Now Geno. That's caught by Tucker. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
Slant route's effective no matter who's running the route and catching the ball. But when you have a receiver of that stature, you have to be a little bit more precise throwing it. You don't have the same catch radius with the bigger targets.
On 3rd down, they're going to run for it here. And he's taken down at the 43, but not before picking up the first. So a decent gain there on the play, but that all gets wiped out with a penalty.
Well, that's a setback, but all the good play callers, they just move on. They find something else in the playbook that can attack this defense, and they go right back on the offensive on this play.
We have played 3 quarters. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Las Vegas. Welcome back, everybody. It's Raider football here, but they're on the short side of the scoreboard right now as we begin the 4th. Here's Tucker, complete on the right side. Now it looks like we're going to get a stoppage here. An injured Steeler on that last play. We'll take a break and get a report from Vegas after this. From the 48-yard line, here's a 2nd and 7. Smith throwing again. They'll try and set up the screen. It's complete. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. They've got another first down. The Raider passing game clicking on all cylinders right now.
And when you have success throwing the football, the old cliche becomes true. The playbook opens up wide, and these screen passes, they become even more difficult to stop.
On first down, they'll go to the ground attack. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down.
Well, they certainly had success throwing the ball on this drive and not as much running it as we just saw once again on that last play. Stopped after a very short gain. But I wouldn't abandon the run totally because otherwise, pass rushers just tee off on your quarterback. Makes it very, very difficult for him in that situation.
Short throw caught by Bowers. A gain of 3 last play. This time they double it and pick up 6. They'll look to make it 3 for 3 on 3rd down conversions. They need a yard here. Now a play fake, and it's Smith. He had a man open, but he missed him, and it's incomplete.
Textbook coverage right there. Played the ball, never lost sight of where it was headed, and stayed in perfect position to make a play on it. Able to keep the receiver and the quarterback in his sight lines.
Okay, so thought they might go for it here, down late. Instead, they trot out the field goal unit. This from 44 yards out, left hash. The kick by Carlson is good, and that lead is back down to 9 now. Well, he was a spectator for much of this game. This is his first field goal opportunity of the entire contest, but he's able to connect.
Yeah, he had a pretty good seat to this one, didn't he? But let's face it, all kickers that you and I know, they want to contribute. They want their opportunity, and he seized his.
After the made field goal, Carlson now sets up to kick this away. And he'll go down as this drive will start at the 25-yard line. Now the Steelers offense gets ready to get back onto the field. Obviously not the intended goal last drive. They had to punt the football, but still they've got the lead here and now a chance to add on to that lead if they can get points on this drive. 1st and 10 upcoming. And they'll start the drive on the ground with Johnson. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. Second down coming up.
Brandon, we just saw the benefits of being able to run the ball successfully. They pick up 4 yards on that carry. So now if you're a play caller, you can do just about anything you want. But on the defensive side of the ball, you're scrambling a little bit. Now you're behind trying to figure out, do I need to blitz him? Do I need to pressure him? How do I gain an advantage on this snap?
That's into the hands of Woods. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 12 yards that time at a Pittsburgh first. The passing game continues to be their friend. Even with a stable lead here in the fourth, Charles, they're going back to that well.
Yeah, with their overall philosophy, you know that they trust their quarterback. He's been able to throw it well. They continue to throw these safe passes. Who can blame them?
Strong run, but he's corralled just beyond the 40. The tackle made by Landon Roberts. I'm sure that that's going to be the formula. Just keep the ball on the ground. Keep that clock moving.
And when you have the lead this late in the game, above all, stay in bounds. Yes, take care of the football. Yes, gain yardage, but stay in bounds and let that clock tick.
2nd and 9 now. Quick slant here to Woods. 5th catch of the afternoon, and that gives him a first down. They run the counter. Warren. And he'll get it down here to the 43. On the tackle there, Lonnie Johnson. Good gain there on first down. It keeps him in a running situation probably.
They did everything right on that play, didn't they? They got the leverage up front, good blocking, nice hole for him. Ends up picking up nice yardage, stays in bounds to keep the clock rolling. They are in charge of this scenario right now. They want to stay that way.
And not in any rush offensively. They'll keep it on the ground. It's Warren, and nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play that time, and they'll look to convert on what will be a 3rd and 4. Looked like he was trying to bounce it outside, but no success.
Yeah, sometimes you got to just figure out where you're going to go, and sometimes you just have to take it to another spot. In trying to get it outside, the defensive pursuit was there and just ran him down.
Now that's to the left sideline and incomplete.
The frustration evident there because he couldn't find anyone on 3rd down, and he left no doubt that he was throwing that one away.
And with things looking pretty good on the scoreboard, they're going to keep the offense out there and go for it here on 4th. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. The Steelers try it, but they come up empty on 4th down. And the Raider D, they get the football back. And I am not sure, partner, there what the mindset was to go for it. I don't know.
And some teams just feel that possession is the key to everything. They just want to have the football in their hands. No matter how it goes to the other team, they just don't trust doing that. So they say, let's go for it and try and finish it ourselves.
Got his man complete over the middle. It's Phillips. They'll give him 4 yards there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Oh, it's time to give a little credit there to the defense. They played that very well because it was a drag route, and he ran it a little shallower than normal as he worked straight across the field. He was hoping he'd get lost behind the defensive line, but once he made the catch, nowhere to turn upfield and gain any yardage.
From the gun, here's Smith. And that one too wide and incomplete.
Oh, I like the calmness of how he played the ball here. No panic in his eyes as that throw arrived. Tracked it from the moment it left the quarterback's hand, and that's just where he needed to be to knock it away.
And this offense on 3rd down today, they've converted a 1/3 of their opportunities, 3 for 9. This will be 3rd and 6. Here's Smith. Short throw caught by Bowers. 2 yards on the pickup there. And that's going to make it 4th down.
Partner, I think that completion takes the definition of dink and dunk to a different level, doesn't it?
It does, and the defense was right there, kind of played into their hands. And they're indeed going to go for it here on 4th down. So trailing here in the last quarter. Let's see how this plays out. They snap it to Smith. That is caught. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. The time to pull out the stops is now, and they convert there on 4th down.
All right, this is the time of the game where they're down a couple of scores, and they've really got to get some yards in chunks, and they know the defense doesn't want to give those up, but they've got to find a way to take them anyway.
Now the question is, can they string a few of those together? So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Now a handoff running through the middle. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Ball on the 27. Here's 2nd down at a yard. In motion is Phillips. Back to throw, Smith. Dancing to his left. And he will slide to a stop. He does have the 1st down. They'll get 9 out of that one, and as a result, the drive continues. Well, there you go. Save your best scramble of the day for a big-time situation in the 4th quarter, picking up the 1st.
You don't want to use it up early, right? You want to make sure you save it for that exact moment, that key time, and that's what he did, although you and I both know it wasn't planned that way. But what a nice job using his eyes, scanning the field, and realizing when it was time to exit the pocket and go.
And he gets this inside the 10 to the 9. It's also a gain of 9. Line of scrimmage, the 9. 2nd and about a yard. Here's a give up the middle. And he'll be brought down right on the edge of the goal line at about the 1-yard line. 9 yards on the play there, and it'll set him up 1st and goal.
Some good strong running right there. Some power and some explosiveness just about got him into the end zone.
Right back to him on 1st down. And he's over the line and in for a Raider touchdown. A touchdown run there from a yard out. And the Raiders have made it a 1-score game again here in the 4th.
Sometimes offenses can get too cute down near the goal line, but there's nothing fancy about this one. As Coach Lombardi would say, we get a seal here, and we get a seal here, and we run this play in the alley. And that's good work to hit the hole hard and finish in the end zone.
Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson. Escaping a tackler at the 25. And the tackle going to be made right there at the 25-yard line. The Steelers ready for their next possession. And they've seen their lead nearly extinguished after that last score. But bottom line, they are still on top with the football. And a touchdown on this drive would really put them in position A. Now a quick throw there, but it's going to be incomplete.
Just because you've got the lead in the 4th, it doesn't mean you have to play it safe. I like the aggressive play call there to push it downfield. That time, it didn't work out.
An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. Up the middle they go. Warren. And he powers his way up past the 30. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5. Operating from the gun, Howard. A short one there to Freiermuth. And he will have a Steelers 1st down. They needed 4. He doubled that. He wound up getting 8. He's been the go-to guy. They needed a big play there on third down. Went his way. It worked out.
Doesn't matter whether they've scouted it or that they think he's going to get the ball. He has a knack for finding his way open and completing the connection.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Now a handoff up the middle. It's Warren, and not a whole lot of room to operate there on the 1st down run. He gets maybe 3. And in this situation with a lead 4th quarter, they're liking keeping the ball on the ground, I'm sure.
That's just smart football, but you know the defense has to know it as well. They've got to stop them here. So now we're going to see that loading the box in a big way. 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take, puts a little bit more pressure on your big offensive line.
Complete to Washington. So he'll be stopped here for no gain. 3rd and 7 now.
Brandon, just mark that under the category of just not successful. Trying to throw the ball, just didn't work on that one.
Completed it. No yardage. One of the bigger plays in the game thus far. The crowd getting into it as we come up on a big 3rd down. Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Able to find the open man. That's complete. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Calvin Austin, 59 yards. And the Steelers use the big play to extend their 4th quarter lead.
I know these wide receivers are about flash and dash and high-flying plays, but a good number of them played running back at some point in their career, and that's how they finish off a lot of their big plays, run after the catch.
And this time he finishes off the big play in the end zone. Extra point now by Boswell. And that makes it a 9-point game. So that drives 6 plays, 75 yards. And in the end, a Calvin Austin touchdown grab finished the drive off. Boswell now to kick it away after the touchdown. And he takes this near the 25. Just a little pass there. Call it the 26. The Raiders offense and Geno Smith headed back out for this next possession. And we'll take you through some of the highlights here. You'll notice he had a hand in a lot of them so far. He's got this offense rolling right now. Here's 1st and 10. Smith. Over the middle, hooks up with the tight end Bowers. And he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. So it's Raider football as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. All 3 timeouts remain, but they've got to score quick. It's 1st and 10. Smith to throw. He finds his man, complete. That's Phillips. Here comes 2nd down. Here's Smith. Short throw caught by Bowers. And he goes out of bounds. It looks like right at the 50. This is 1st and 10. Smith. That's to Bowers once again. The Raiders going to use one of their timeouts as they'll get a chance to talk it over after picking up the 1st down. Smith's going to throw it. Now throw right side here, going to be incomplete.
And not a common sight, at least on this drive. A momentary setback, though, for this passing game that has been moving well this series. Good thing for them, though. Still 2 more downs to connect and try and pick up another first down.
Here's second down. Smith. Throwing quickly there, but it's incomplete.
And now the focus is really clear. They need to get that first down and either get out of bounds or maybe use one of those timeouts.
And now a tough spot here. This is 3rd and 10. Now it's Smith. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete.
Give it big credit for his coverage right there, because when he saw the route break deep, he stayed in position to prevent a completion while avoiding any risk of a flag.
So here we go. Maybe the biggest kick of the game forthcoming. He was true on his first. This a tough one from 49 yards away. The kick by Carlson is good, and that'll move him back within 6 now. Well, that's one part of the equation. Puts him back within 1 score, but I'd be surprised if we don't see an onside kick coming up.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, partner. They've still got the 2 timeouts. But without that third one, they can bleed a lot more clock on you. So how confident are you that the defense can hold them deep? I think you're exactly right. I'd line up and play for the onside kick here.
And this doesn't work. The Steelers recover it. And that's why you have your hands team out there on the field. Those are the best guys ready to make that play.
And let's face it, it was executed well. It wasn't a bad kick. It wasn't anything like that. Just that the normal outcome actually came to play. Analytics would tell you it's a very low possibility of getting the ball for the team kicking it in an onside kick situation.
You're all about the numbers, aren't you?
All about the numbers, baby. It's a new game now.
They don't lie. We got to have 2 hands on the football here as they run on first down. Now the Raiders going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with just over a minute to go in the game. This, in all probability, another run here on 2nd and 8. He's going to get it again. Just looking to get forward and protect the ball. Now the Raiders going to burn their 3rd and final timeout as they'll get it with just a shade under a minute to go in the game. And the knee is taken for the Steelers out of the victory formation. Here's Cameron Johnston now as he's on to punt for Pittsburgh. And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line. The Raiders offense and their running back getting ready to go back to work. And he has put in a full game's work and then some. Just an incredible performance on the ground to this point in the 4th quarter. Now Smith. And he can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game. T.J. Watt causing the disruption. He gets the sack. Well, it took us until the final play, Charles, to officially decide a winner. Although on that last play they were so backed up it would have taken a miracle, and they couldn't get that miracle done.
Well, I like how you stayed with it because we both knew that this had to go down to the last play, and neither side was going to exhale until that play concluded because we've seen the improbable before. couple of laterals, maybe some poor defense on the back end. They might have gone all the way to the end zone. In this case, though, it didn't happen. Perhaps next time.
So that'll just about do it for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. For more, log on to easports.com. With that, we say so long from Las Vegas.